Well, good morning guys, and this is an impromptu video. I had no plans on making a video today. It is Monday morning, it is early, my kids are still asleep, so I'm not gonna talk too much or too loudly, just because I don't want to wake them up. I wanted to get up early and get this video done for you because last night I made for the first time cornmeal dinner rolls. And Matt even had to agree it might have been the best dinner roll I have ever made. It was incredible. The texture was amazing. You can't even really tell that these are made from cornmeal. And I don't know about you, me and my friend Paul were talking, and you know, he buys cornmeal in bulk. I buy it in bulk. But other than using it like under pizza crust or to make cornbread, I really don't use my cornmeal a whole lot. So it just kind of sits over there in that jar. It sits pretty on my countertop, and I don't have a whole lot of uses for it. So this is another, if you're like me and if you're like Paul, you overuse your cornbread a whole lot, you're looking for different ways to use it, this is going to be one of your new favorite ways. This roll is incredible. It's so good. I got up early on a Monday morning to make this for you guys because you have to have it. You have to have this recipe. Now, I did tweak this recipe a little bit. So as I show you my few tweaks, I will let you know the original recipe. I'm also going to try to edit it at the bottom throughout this whole video of exactly what I'm using and how much, so you guys have the recipe since I don't have my website anymore. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to start with a pot. Now mine's a cast iron pot, and it's an enameled cast iron pot. I get a lot of comments about these pots. I got them at Aldi's, guys. I paid $7 for this thing. It's my favorite pot too because it heats up amazingly. So, all right. So in this pot now, we are going to be adding, let me get my measuring cup here. We are doing 1 cup of cornmeal. Okay. I'm going to use a 1/4 cup measuring cup because, I'm kind of dipping in my jar here and a whole cup won't fit. So we're gonna do 1 cup of cornmeal and 2 cups of water. And I'm using my filtered water. And then what you're gonna do is you're going to bring this to a boil. And then we're gonna turn it, well, mine's on low anyway because I'm cooking in cast iron. This thing heats up pretty quick. But you're gonna do this on a high heat. And then once we bring it to a boil, we can go ahead and turn it down to a medium heat. And then we're just gonna cook this until it's thick. Okay, and now you can start seeing how this is thickening up here. It takes about 3 minutes or so, not long. Okay, then when it gets to this nice thick stage, we are going to be adding, now the recipe calls for 1/2 cup of shortening, and I am using instead lard, okay, because I don't use shortening, or at least I really try not to. So there's my lard. I'm going to go ahead and get this melted in here. I know it kind of looks like a weird mess right now, but trust me, this is going to be fantastic. All right, now also to this, we are going to add 1½ teaspoons of salt. I am using kosher salt, but you could use sea salt or Himalayan salt or whatever you wanted. Okay, let me get that stirred in. And then to this, we're also going to be adding a 1/3 cup of sugar. And then we're also going to add about 2 tablespoons maybe of local honey, which is what I'm using. That is honey that comes from a beehive from a friend of my son's. who is now my supplier. So it's amazing. Okay, and then I'm just gonna blend this well, and I'm gonna keep it on the low heat until I see all of my lard is completely melted. For those of you wondering where I get my lard, well, I have quite a few packages in my deep freeze, but just at the grocery store, down the baking aisle or the aisle that sells all of your oils. It'll be right there. It's shelf stable. I keep mine, I always buy a few packs and keep it in my freezer, and that way I always have it on hand, because I use it to make biscuits and pie crust with, mainly. But anytime a recipe calls for shortening, that's what I use. So looks like everything is melted now, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off of the heat, and then we're going to put this in a bowl and we're going to let it cool. We need to bring it down to a lukewarm temperature, so when we add it to our flour mixture, it won't kill our yeast. So I'm going to take you over to the other counter and we'll get this in a bowl. All right, so this is how I'm doing it. Cast iron is so heavy for me in the morning and my hands. All right, bear with me. I know it's a terrible camera angle here. All right, I'm gonna get everything out now. And now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna kind of spread this out a little bit. Okay, so now that I have that spread a little bit, I'm gonna take over. I've got a little kitchen fan that I use, honestly, mainly for hot flashes when I'm cooking. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to direct that right on this mixture. And I'm going to give it a few minutes and I'm going to let it cool down. I will come in here with a fork or spoon. I'm just kind of making sure that this is going to get cooled down, but it's going to stay warm. We still want to use it when it's warm, but it should be no warmer than what you make your bread with. So kind of like a baby bottle on your wrist. All right, so when this cools down, I'll be back and we'll finish up these rolls. All right guys, so now that we're ready to move on with our dough, now that the mixture's cooled down, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add just a half a teaspoon of sugar. I'm going to add a half a cup of warm water to that. And then I'm going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of instant yeast. And I need to pull more yeast out of my freezer. Hold on. I need an extra smidgen. Get that to 2 tablespoons. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take a little spoon and kind of mix that around so that the yeast gets in that liquid. And gets woken up. I always keep my yeast in the freezer. It keeps longer that way, especially if you buy it in bulk like I do. Or if you don't use yeast that much, say you don't make a lot of bread. So there we go. All right. Now this recipe calls for 5 to 5.5 cups of flour, but I found that I did not need that much yesterday. So what we're going to do is we're going to eyeball this. So to start off, before we add the mixture, just in case it's a little warm in some spots, I'm going to kind of kick my dough hook to the back there for you. I'm going to add 2 cups of just all-purpose flour. You could use bread flour if you wanted to. And then we're going to go ahead and we are going to add our cornmeal mixture to this. All of it. Throw it all in. Okay, then once we have it all in, we're going to go ahead and lift this up. I'm gonna put this at a level 2. Well, I thought I was recording. I just stopped my mixer and I added 2 eggs to this. If you guys can see, right down there. Add 2 eggs to this mixture. And then I'm gonna get an extra cup of flour, which will be our 3rd cup. And as this mixes, I'm gonna just lightly throw flour in as I need it. You want to add enough flour in here so when you start seeing that mixture is going to start pulling from the sides. And the only way to get that done is by adding a little bit of extra flour to allow that to work for you. Down. I'll lift my hook out of here. And then I'm just going to toss down a little bit of flour, just a little bit. This dough is a little bit stickier. Okay, so just put the bowl right back there. Take off my rings because I don't want dough in that. And remind me I need to make pancake mix today. Oh, it's another thing on my to-do list. All right, so I'm just gonna hand knead this. Kind of a good way to get my arthritis going a little bit. Get my hands moving and working. Get the ache out of them. Okay. So here we go. I'm just gonna kind of pull this up. You might hear my pork loin is in the Instant Pot now. I'm putting a nice sear on it. And then there is our dough ball. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull my bowl back here. I'm going to add, now I'm using Mediterranean extra virgin olive oil. You can use any kind of oil you have on hand. I just love using olive oil. So what I'm doing, for anybody who's new to bread making, let me get to my Instant Pot. It's beeping at me. I just want to put the oil in there, and as you see, I'm just using my dirty bowl, but as you can see, other than a little ring there, a little lip, that dough lifted beautifully off of that bowl. So I'm going to put my dough ball in. I'm going to spin it in the olive oil. I'm going to flip it. Okay. And that's where it's going to sit. Now, I'm going to use, I call them bread towels. So I buy mine from Grove Collaborative. Leave a link down below. But that's where I've been buying mine. I love them. They're the perfect size. They're not too big. I used to buy mine at Bed Bath & Beyond, but they're so big that they then drape all over my counter, and they're just kind of obnoxious. I love the size. It's a bit smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over to my sink, and I'm going to get some hot water on it. Hot water, squeeze it out, and then I'm just going to put it right over my bowl. And I'm actually going to replace my bowl with my pancake mix container that I need to make, and then we'll get this out of the way too. Now what I've been doing, and works for me, if I have my dehydrator out, my Excalibur, I will put my bread dough right in my Excalibur, but that's all the way downstairs in the laundry room, and I quite frankly am not ready to do the stairs yet this morning. So I'm going to put this right under my under cabinet light, which has a bit of heat to it. Another option is putting it in your oven with the oven light on. The oven light in your oven is just enough heat that what your dough ball is going to need to rise. So we're going to set this timer for 1 hour, and we'll come back in an hour, and we'll shape this into dinner rolls, or in my case, more like a hamburger, well, smaller than a hamburger bun, but bigger than a dinner roll, if that makes sense. Just enough for a perfect pulled pork Sammy. All right, I'll see you guys back in an hour. Right, so it's been an hour, and there is our dough ball. So I'm going to go ahead and deflate that. Get all that extra air out of there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it right out onto my countertop here. Okay. Try to make it as even as I can into a bit of a square here. All right, there we go. So nice square. Let me grab my bench knife, and we're gonna just go ahead and we're gonna cut this in half. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, I am not that baker. I wing a lot of stuff, and I'm usually not that accurate even on my measurements, unless it needs to be. But all right, so we're gonna let this dough now just rest on my counter, okay, for about 10 minutes. All right, I'm gonna take this damp towel. I'm going to put hot water on it again. All right, hot water, wring it out. And now I'm just gonna lay this over my dough. Okay, and then we're gonna set the timer for another 10 minutes. And we will come back and we will start shaping this dough. Okay, just to show really quickly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be using an olive oil spray. Okay, but you can use whatever nonstick spray you like. And you could even put more cornmeal on the bottom. And actually, we might do that. You want to try it? Let's try it. I'm going to sprinkle some cornmeal on the bottom, because some cornmeal on the bottom of our rolls would be really good with barbecue pulled pork. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit there. All right, so there we go. All right, now let's lift this off of there. And now you're going to divide it. Oh, let me get you a better aim. Sorry, guys. All right, so you're going to divide it any way that you want to divide it up, because you're going to do smaller ones if you want smaller dinner rolls, and then larger ones like myself, because I'm going to use them more as like not really like a hamburger bun, but as like a dinner, you know, a sandwich roll. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to do, I'm going to do half there, and then in half. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Now, this sometimes is the fun part, because this is the part where you kind of play with the shape, you know, how big you want it, how small you want them. And so I'm gonna just kind of pull all of those corners together and then roll it. And you might have to add a little bit of flour or a little bit of oil to your hands. Personally, I like a little bit of oil over flour. And what I do is I just kind of ball my hand up a little bit, and with my upper hand, just kind of roll it almost like a meatball. And I think that is going to be the perfect size and shape. So over here, I'm just going to lay this right down into my pan. And then let's roll another one together. I probably won't film all of this because it'll be a really long video, and I'm really trying to be, like I said, more conscientious of your time and how much you spend on one of my videos. I know a half-hour video is just so long, and this is probably already going to be a half-hour video. And there is our dough ball there. All right, so I'm going to keep going here and making all of the balls. And I love this. I love every aspect of making bread. It's a complete joy for me. I love going and getting in the zone, and I love canning. I love dehydrating. I love cooking, but bread is really where my heart lies. It really is. I just love it so much. So, all right, I'm gonna keep going here and making these little rolls for dinner. And then we are going to, when I'm all done, I'll bring you back. But we're gonna let these rise a second time for about 40 minutes. Okay. And then we can bake them up. All right, so we'll be back when I get all of these on my tray. There we go. Okay, so there are my rolls. Let me lift you up and show you. Sorry, you're gonna hear Mina playing in the background. All right, and then once again with your towel soaked in hot water, and go ahead and just lay this on top. Set the timer for 40 minutes, and then we're gonna let these rise. And then when 40 minutes is up, I will come back and we'll do the last step before we get these in the oven. Guys, so I let these rise on my top of my stove as I was preheating my oven, and now, as you can see, they're beautiful size now. Okay, so what I took is 1 egg, and I added about a teaspoon of water, and I am going to go ahead and add a wash to the top of this. I just think it looks prettier when it's all said and done with a little wash on top. So also get it on the top and hit the sides. The egg wash will give it a nice, not only a nice golden top, but it'll also be shiny and pretty. So I like the egg wash on top. Okay, and then once you add the wash, now you can leave these plain, and a couple of these I am going to leave plain because my 2 younger kiddos like them plain, But you can play around with adding some extra or additional toppings. So this one is an organic sesame seed. So I'm gonna put a couple, I'm gonna make a couple of them sesame seed. This is my favorite and also Matt's favorite. This is the everything bagel topping. Really good on top of rolls. You could do black poppy, which I think I have downstairs too. I could have grabbed those, but that's okay. You get the idea. So you can make these any way you want. And these are actually going to be, I think, my rolls for Easter Sunday. So that's why I really wanted to make this video for you guys and get this out. Just in case you're looking for a good dinner roll, even for Sunday dinners, anything like that. I made these last night to go with chili and they were amazing. So there's everything. And actually I think we're gonna do two of everything because even Eric likes the everything topping. I sent Matt home to work with the rolls that we had left over from last night so everyone could have some with some cream cheese. All right, so there's everything. This next row I'm going to do. Okay, so let's do some sesame seeds. We will go ahead and leave plain. All right, guys, I'm gonna put these in the oven. They're gonna bake 15 to 20 minutes. For my stove, it's 20 minutes. And I will see you back when I pull these out. All right, guys, I just pulled them out of the oven. In fact, go ahead and shut that off. And here they are. Beautiful. And that egg wash gives it that beautiful golden brown color. And you'll see on here, that little bit of glaze. Look, the shine. Oh, so good. So good. So there you have it. Now I'm gonna let these sit and cool just a little bit, and then I will bring you back and we will slice into one of these so you guys can see the inside. I know many of you like actually looking at the crumb inside, so I'm gonna let these just cool down a little bit, and I will bring you back and we'll take a look at what it looks like inside. But my house smells amazing. Why don't they make a candle that smells like baking bread? All right, so let's get a knife and I'm gonna take one of these everything. There is the roll, and this is how I will slice them for barbecued pulled pork sandwiches for dinner tonight. But there is the crumb. And then the bottom has that little bit of cornmeal on the bottom. You don't have to do that though. You can just leave it plain if you want. But there you have it. Look at that. Beautiful roll. You guys, if you give this a try, please let me know. Come back, comment in the comment section. I am dying to hear what you guys think if you give these a try. I honestly think this is the best roll I have made to date in the little over 5 years I've been baking bread now. So that says a lot because I've baked a lot of bread and I've made a lot of rolls. So I honestly think it's the best recipe I have tried so far. And you won't even be able to tell that it's cornmeal. You're not gonna taste anything gritty or any crunchy. It is just, I mean, it's a beautiful bread, and it is so soft. If you can see that, it is so soft. It's just absolutely beautiful. I can't say enough about these. They're incredible, and I can't wait for you guys to try them. So come back, let me know if you give this recipe a try. Let me know what you think, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I had to share it with you guys. This is too good not to share. All right, guys, I'll be seeing you soon, and you guys have a great work week. So, all right, bye, guys.